At 2:17 a.m., the harbor of St. Nazaire looked calm from a distance, the Atlantic lying flat and black like polished stone. Up close, it was chaos. Thousands of civilians and retreating personnel pressed toward the gangways of a half-lit evacuation ship whose name most of them did not know, and did not care to know. In moments like this, names stopped being facts and became promises. Lamps were dimmed to avoid attracting aircraft, leaving only thin lines of yellow light tracing the deck. A young civilian clerk named Imran Hale stood near the boarding ramp with a heavy ledger pressed against his chest. His assignment had been given in blunt terms: write down whoever boards. No arguments. No questions. There is no time. The people passing him were no longer individuals, they were fragments of fear, faces smeared with ash, hands shaking, children clinging silently to coats. Imran asked names, ages, places of origin, but often the noise swallowed the answers. Sometimes he wrote, woman with child, and moved on. The aircraft engines came first as a distant vibration, a sound that experienced ears recognized too late. Then the siren, brief, almost embarrassed. A woman stepped forward carrying an infant wrapped in a torn blanket. Her voice was steady in a way that felt unnatural. We're not from Paris, she said. We're not from anywhere now. Please. Imran asked her name. She hesitated, then said, Alice Marot. The name struck him. Not emotionally, administratively. He had seen it before. Somewhere it was already written. He flipped back through the ledger and found a note scrawled near the margin of an earlier page: special passenger, no inquiry. Before he could ask anything else, the night turned white. The first bomb detonated near the docks, lifting water and steel into the air. The blast arrived a second later, slamming bodies against railings and hurling people to the ground. Screams followed, then a second impact, closer this time. The ship shuddered. Metal screamed. Someone shouted that it was taking water. Imran felt hands shove him aside as panic surged forward. He clutched the ledger as if it were a life raft. A soldier grabbed him by the collar and yelled into his face, demanding the list. If that book is lost, the soldier shouted, half this evacuation dies on paper even if they live. Another explosion threw them both down. The ledger slipped from Imran's grip, slid across the ramp and vanished into the burning water below. He lunged after it, but the sea swallowed it instantly. By dawn, thousands were dead or missing. Official statements would later describe confusion, heroism, unavoidable loss. But inside a temporary office the next morning, Imran was handed a clean ledger and a stamped order: reconstruct the manifest. Incomplete records are to be resolved. Public morale is essential. 2 days later, Imran worked inside a requisition school building where children's drawings still hung on the walls above maps of the coast and troop movements. He was told to rebuild the evacuation list using whatever fragments remained: dock records, officer notes, memory. If a name appears twice, choose the version that keeps the number stable, his superior said without irony. That night, a nervous infantryman slipped into the room and locked the door behind him. From inside his coat, he produced a salt-stained scrap of paper. 2 entries were still legible: Marot, Vivus, and beneath it, Marot, Mortius. Alive. Dead. The same name. The same day. The soldier said it had been found tangled in debris near the harbor. Imran felt something shift inside him. The following morning, a woman came to the office carrying a child. She gave the same name. Alice Marot. She said her son was listed as alive on one register but that no ration office would acknowledge her existence. It's like we were erased halfway, she said. By evening, she was gone. No transfer record. No arrest. Just absence. Imran began comparing surviving documents, old manifests, tower logs, harbor entries. Patterns emerged. Certain names appeared across multiple ships. Others were listed as deceased without witnesses. It became clear this was not chaos. It was correction. When he questioned a senior official, the answer was blunt: war produces unacceptable outcomes. Paper fixes them. Imran realized the ship had not sunk twice. It had been sunk once by bombs, and a second time by administration. The first death was physical. The second was bureaucratic. The second one lasted longer. A week later, Imran was summoned to a warehouse near the docks. Inside, a single lantern illuminated three figures: a disgraced naval officer, a former port clerk, and an elderly survivor with burn scars etched into his face. They showed Imran the original manifest, the one that had never gone to sea. The book that sank was a decoy, the officer said. This one decided who would matter afterward. The clerk explained that certain individuals were marked as essential continuities, people whose survival was required for post-war stability. Others were marked as expendable variables. If they lived, she said, they lived unofficially. The old man spoke last. Those people became uncounted. No papers. No food cards. No protection. Not prisoners. Not citizens. Imran understood then that this was not about evacuation. It was about shaping the future population silently. He said he would expose it. The officer warned him that the system protected itself by rewriting memory. A clerk tried this before, the woman said. By morning, his name appeared on the casualty list. And people stopped remembering him. Footsteps echoed outside. The lantern went dark. In that moment, Imran realized the true weapon of modern war was not fire or steel, but records. Imran returned to his desk the next day and continued working. Outwardly, nothing changed. Inwardly, everything had. He began altering records subtly, restoring erased names, creating overlaps that forced recognition, embedding contradictions that could not be resolved quietly. The system responded. Supervisors questioned him. Guards lingered near his desk. Then one morning, his own name appeared twice. Once under, clerical staff. Once under, confirmed dead. He understood the warning. That night, he slipped the reconstructed truth into multiple archives, ensuring it could not be erased cleanly. When he vanished weeks later, no arrest was recorded. No execution noted. He simply became one of the uncounted. But the damage was done. Years later, historians would struggle to explain why evacuation numbers never aligned, why certain people appeared alive in testimonies but dead in ledgers. They would call it confusion. Fog of war. They would be wrong. The truth was simpler and more terrifying: some people survived the war, but not the paperwork. And in modern conflict, survival without recognition was its own kind of death.